welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Tailgate right here on Friday Sports Network. It's a very cloudy Sunday morning here in the at least the Midwest. Here in St. Louis, it's not so bright right now. Jordan, how you doing today?
We're doing good. The sun is shining here in Ohio, but it is freezing cold in the 30s, so it's very
Yeah,
deceptive. You look out the window and you're like, "All right, I can maybe rock some shorts," but that is a big negative right now. So,
yeah, yeah. It
ground
hasn't been
fog
bad
day.
here. It was like shoot, what was it? 70, almost no, it was 65 degrees the other day. It's supposed to be like that for the next week or so, like that nice mild what we call is our fake spring
Thanks.
one or two uh, in the area because it's only February, so I'm sure we're gonna get more snow. We're gonna get more ice. It's gonna be a fun time. But never know. Maybe this will stick around and it's just gonna become the norm.
I don't know. We'll see. I've had some marches where some St. Patrick's Day where I'm rocking a full coat, and I've had some St. Patrick's Days where I'm rocking some short sleeves. So well,
Yeah,
we'll see what Mother Nature wants to do here in the Midwest. So.
right. I get that comment all the time. Like, why are you wearing shorts when it's cold outside? I'm like, that's because I'm inside all day. Why should I wear short? Why would I wear pants if I'm sitting inside, doing stuff inside all day? Like I'm not gonna wear pants unless it's absolutely freezing cold. I'm gonna wear shorts. I'm gonna wear my athletic shorts, and I'm be comfortable while I'm in the gym. Like
Yeah,
it's just
you
what it
could
is.
you could tell when I was in the Marine Corps, the East Coasters would shock everybody from the West Coast. We'd be walking, it'd be like 50 degrees, and we
Mhm.
had shorts and a t-shirt on, and we'd be outside, grilling or playing
Yeah.
basketball. Be like, oh my god, it's cold. I'm like, you guys don't know what cold is.
No. No. Don't know what that is. Yeah. No. What's up,
Let's get
guys?
into it. Let's,
Who's buying a KC Swifties sweatshirt for the Super Bowl? You know what? You know what? Go ahead. Yeah, give me one. In the clutch has a lot of Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey stuff that you can go get right now. It's actually some of the stuff is pretty funny. I won't lie. But the other thing that I saw the other day is that there's one of the local gas stations. I don't know how because they're not all over the place right now. But Quick Trip, um, one of their billboard like advertisements things right now is in my croissant era, and it has like the Taylor Swift and Eras tour like background and stuff. It has just a bunch of pictures of the croissants and stuff all around it. I thought it was funny. Play along with it. Why not?
we had a couple KFCs put together the Taylor Swift box, two bony thighs and a chicken. It was kind of funny. Whether that should be authorized or not, I have no legal proceedings on that, but it was funny to see the signs.
That is funny. All righty. Well, let's jump into some of our. We'll jump into our first topic today, and it's gonna be just let's just talk about Super Bowl 58 and your thoughts and what you expect out of the game and the halftime performance from Usher.
Well, that as a 90 and 2000s kid, it'll be fun to see some reminiscing. Maybe Usher pulls out some friends and gives us some Little John and the East Side Boys remix. We'll see some middle school dance music,
Right.
but
Yeah.
that definitely might be excited to see that. But definitely for the game though, I think it's gonna be super high scoring. I think you're gonna see a lot of chunk plays. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to take the mantle. I think he's going to be the MVP of the game. I'm going to go ahead and make that prediction extremely early. I think the whole offense is going to run through him. I know they have IU and company, and they're going to make their plays, but it all flows through Christian McCaffrey. So I think he's going to have a huge day both on the ground and in the air. As for the other side, we're going to get the same old. Play the violin, put the record on repeat. It's going to be it's going to be a heavy dose of Travis Kelsey early and often.
Oh yeah.
Their wide receiver room had a little bit of controversy going into the playoffs. Are
Well,
they
all year, really.
all year? But making a healthy scratch that late in the postseason. Rice has come on strong, so I think
Hmm.
he's going to make some key plays down the stretch. Pacheco has been running like a man for a contract. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's been doing some of his best runs here late in the season. Andy Reid did change the identity. They've definitely become a run first team. In probably the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season. We're so used to seeing the Tyreek deep pass and the tight end
Mm-hmm.
pop pass and razzle and dazzle on extending the plays and throwing it deep, and they kind of got away from it. They kind of had to. So the Patrick Mahomes turnovers were at a career high, not by much. I think it was by 3 interceptions, but you could definitely tell he was frustrated early in the season. Pass rushers were getting to him. They have the worst left tackle, at least penalty-wise in football. I won't say PFF grade, but Jawan Taylor's definitely they'll probably move on from him, but that's another show discussion. But I got the 49ers taking it. I got the 49ers taking it all the way. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I'd even dare say, maybe 38-35. It's just kind of we're going to see some field goals, some big plays. I think it's going to be grab your popcorn. To definitely a little Terrell Owens reference there with the 49ers. Given his time there, I think we're going to be in for a really entertaining game. I think it's going to be a clean game. You're not going to see a lot of turnovers. I don't know. I've kind of taken the mic here. What do you think, Brandon?
You're fine. No, I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a fun one. I think I think the halftime show is going to be it's not going to be interesting. It should be good. It usually is good. It's still going to be hard to top the whole Snoop Dogg, Eminem. Who else was it? There was 3 or 4 other guys. I couldn't even.
Did a crunch upside down. Remember?
Yeah, that whole Super Bowl halftime show was really, really good. It was fantastic, honestly. So to see that, to be able to try to top that, every year is something I think I'm looking forward to some of the commercials. I know some of them have already dropped. I don't know if anybody has seen I think it's the Paramount Plus commercial.
I think I posted that on timeline the other day.
It's fantastic.
I wish they would have not showed it early.
No, I wish they wouldn't have showed it early. I hate that some of them are getting leaked already.
They've been doing that the last decade. They had a preview. I don't know if they had one this year, but they used to have a preview show, like exclusively, like, oh, we're gonna show you guys the new ones. Like it kind of takes the stigma, but I'm more like some trailers. Deadpool 3 trailer. If you're a Marvel fan, I think Marvel is getting back on track. At least
Wolverine's supposed to be in it.
Yeah, that's the set photos got me excited. They got him in the old school '90s blue and yellow uniform. We'll see how that pans out, at least on the trailer. I'm excited for that. But Budweiser, they're bringing back the Clydesdales. Thank God.
I saw that with as soon as I saw it come up on my thing, I was like, here's the 2024 Super Bowl commercial. I'm like, nope. I'm not watching it yet. Nope.
I stumbled on a Paramount Plus one when him punting Hey Arnold. That was definitely, if you're a 90s kid, you're gonna love it. If you're a Star Trek fan or an X-Men fan, you're gonna love it.
That's the best one I've seen in a while. But when it comes to the game, I'm honestly, I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be a great game. I know it's getting a lot of crap because everything's getting thrown towards, all the talk is getting thrown towards Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs somehow making it to the Super Bowl. I don't know if we should honestly be surprised that they are there. They're finding ways to win when they need to. And, Travis Kelce has played a heck of a playoff so far. Let's see, up to like 5 or 6 touchdowns already in 3 games. That's pretty impressive coming from a guy who was having issues all season catching the ball. I think Rashee Rice is going to be a big playmaker for the Chiefs this weekend, or next weekend, I should say.
He turned a corner. He turned a big.
He reminds me of Tyreek a little bit.
He is. The way they're using him especially the play action game.
Yeah.
Him the go route right down the seam. He's doing a fantastic job catching the ball. So he's a Bengals fan to say that out loud, but
yeah. But on the other side, I think like the San Francisco 49ers they're going to be tough to beat. But they still have their little bit of flaws. I'm afraid if they come out like they have the last 2 weeks, that they come out slow, not ready to necessarily play till the second half, I think Kansas City has a very good possibility of going back to back and kind of walking away and kind of stealing a win against the 49ers. And I think that's going to be a big key part of the game is rather not how San Francisco comes out in the first half. If they come out in the first half like they did against Detroit, like they did against Green Bay, where they have to fight their way to come back in the second half, this isn't you're not playing Detroit, you're not playing an inexperienced Green Bay Packers team, and you're not playing a Detroit Lions team who hasn't been in that situation before.
Because Andy Reid's going to take the points.
Yeah,
110%.
anytime he can get a field goal, he's gonna kick the field goal and get the 3 points.
Yeah, they're
So that's where I think the difference is.
I guarantee you, Andy Reid's not going to leave anything on the
No.
field. So to quote Carl Weathers, rest in peace. There is no tomorrow.
Right.
They're going to take they're going to take everything they can get. So
Yeah, I think that'll be a big difference, at least on my viewpoint of how this game could be and why I think the Kansas City Chiefs could walk away and steal a win in Super Bowl 58 is if San Francisco comes out in a slow start like they had the last 2 weeks. It could be interesting. It's going to be tougher to come back in a Super Bowl game than I shouldn't say that because we've seen it before.
Well, yeah. Atlanta versus Tom Brady. We've seen it. We've seen
Yeah.
them.
That's also Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So there's a difference between Tom Brady and Brock Purdy right now still.
No, they're absolutely and I know quarterback plays. I'm saying historically that's the one that sticks out, as a huge for meltdowns and comebacks. So.
Yeah. Sorry, John and Mike. Apologize about that. It's just something that always gets brought up every time you talk about Super Bowls and comebacks and whatnot. And they hate to hear it just as much as anybody.
So. Hey, I mean, Bengals fans themselves, the 49ers did it to us for a decade. So
yeah,
it happens.
But I think Kansas City pulls it off. I think they win. I said it Friday. Sorry, on timeout. That Kansas City walks away with like a 24, 21, 27, 24 type of win. I think it'll be close, and then they'll make it close in the second half. That first half is going to kind of be that wide open game like we've seen from San Francisco the last 2 weeks, and they come out in the second half and just aren't able to get where they need to be. So give me the Chiefs to go back to back and take the win next week in Vegas, in Raider Nation of all places.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think the 49ers have too much. I think Debo, McCaffrey, IU, George Kittle, it's a different animal than Kansas City is used to. City hasn't historically this year played well against high offensive-minded teams. They've definitely had some struggles, especially interdivision. You look at their losses against the Raiders and other teams that they really shouldn't have lost to. That I think Denver stole one from them. They played extremely close. That
Mahomes flu game
came down to a penalty that kind of saved them. And San Francisco kind of has that same defensive mindset as the New York Jets on the flip side with the offense to back it up. So I think they're going to struggle. If San Francisco comes out and makes it a fast-paced game where Mahomes is going to have to drop back and kind of eliminate Pacheco running the ball often and early, San Francisco is going to do what they specialize in, and that's the pass rush. That's getting to it. That's Bosa and company. I won't necessarily say Chase Young because he hasn't really shown up on tape the last couple of games. He had a kind of tackle for loss in the third quarter, but honestly,
I think it's one of those things with Chase is that he just I don't necessarily know he doesn't think he feels like he has that pressure that he's like that number one guy now. So maybe he does take a play or two off, which isn't necessarily great.
No,
don't get me wrong, but
somebody invested in you, an organization invested in you because they thought, they
Right.
were going to take their defense to the next premier level.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be good against the run. You're supposed to be elite against the pass with the pass rush, and he's not showing it.
Hmm.
Pains me. I'm a huge Ohio State person. I was huge on Chase Young. Coming into the draft same time as Joe Burrow. That was the big debate. Are we going to take the
Yeah.
defense? And obviously, I'm glad we took the quarterback. But
Right.
as he's kind of reminding me of Clowney. Clowney kind of had a big resurgent year. I think he finished with 9.5 sacks in the regular season, which was a career high for him in Baltimore. But
It's just crazy.
find his footing somewhere in the offseason. So
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he's just trying to uh, manage his way through what he's what he's going through. I mean, you obviously have that, being that number one guy in Washington and being kind of like that leader in the locker room and stuff, and then you get traded to San Francisco where you don't have that type of responsibilities anymore. Um, so it gets a little bit of weight off his shoulder. I mean, he might still be learning, trying to figure out, defensive stuff with him, and I'm sure it's probably nothing to him. But it's hard to sometimes see it from, we see it from our viewpoints, like maybe he's taking all these plays off and whatnot. But maybe just I know the big one was that the was it the Jameer Gibbs run? Is that
yeah,
who? Yeah, where it looked like he should have been tackled way further back and on the field. And I could see that being a possible reason. Like, hey, maybe he thought he was going to be tackled because there was two other San Francisco 49er defensive guys there, who probably couldn't have made the play. Maybe he didn't want to get tangled up and get his knee taken out or anything like that. I don't know. It's just some of those things. Like it could be this. It could be this. Maybe he did take the playoff. Maybe he just didn't want to make the tackle. Who knows? So I don't know.
well, I mean, we'll see if the 49ers retain him. But having a week off to kind of nurse some, any ailments on, and that's for every player. I think is
Yeah.
moving forward, especially on offensive line for,
Right.
for the 49ers. I think that's going to be huge for them. So if the 49ers make it a shootout, I don't see Kansas City overcoming that. I think some of the issues they had in the regular season and even kind of poked its head out of the postseason, forcing Mahomes to drop back, especially with an offensive line that's given up more sacks than any time he's ever seen in his career. Like the 49ers are going to feast and do what they do best and kind of push forward and definitely get the win. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I just said though that could throw a little wrench into things is that Patrick Mahomes moves around a little bit more, and will take off and run the ball, uh, compared to Jordan Love and Jared Goff, where they're both kind of more in the pocket. We're gonna if we have to run, we will, but
right.
we'll take the sack over running the ball sometimes, or at least try to get back to the line of scrimmage, if anything, where Patrick Mahomes will. Uh, he'll make a move and he'll get upfield and he'll get by you. And next thing you know, you go from the 50-yard line to the 25 because uh, weren't playing, a sound defense, sound quarterback run defense when he's trying to, get out of the pocket.
Yeah,
So,
but we saw Purdy kind of for the first time in an NFC Championship game use his legs. I think he had a career high 50 yards around
yeah,
rambles. So I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's, but you looking at both offenses, the 49ers have the better offensive line, and I
yeah,
think best left tackle to, in my book, ever play the game.
right,
And that's a huge help. But I don't see it. I don't see Kansas City getting past this one. Like I said, I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I think you're going to see a lot of big plays. We're going to see both quarterbacks extend plays, but the 49ers just have too much. I think they have weapons set. Kelsey and Rice and Pacheco, they're going to make plays, but the 49ers it's just like one after another after another. The
right,
most they use, Kansas City's been playing an elite defense the last couple of weeks of the season, but that you gotta count for McCaffrey, and then you have just the absolute motions that they play with, and the loops that they play with, and the mesh routes of the 49ers.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a lot, and I don't see Kansas City getting over that, especially in a shootout.
Right. Yeah, like this one, you'll keep a spy on Mahomes. Niners going to have Mahomes dinking and dunking all game, which might be an issue for the 49ers, but so they won't be able to win like that. That's fair. You're going to have those 4 or 5 yard little passes and stuff as long as the 49ers can fly up and take care of those things and kind of get the Chiefs out of rhythm. Then yeah, I don't see why the San Francisco 49ers won't win, shouldn't win. So, but who knows? That's the fun part about the Super Bowl is that it's.
Who's your X factor in the game? Who do you think is
I
gonna?
think it has to be Rashee Rice. For the Chiefs, it has to be Rashee Rice. I don't know how. I mean, you got to make him more of a playmaker than he not necessarily has been, but you got to get that little bit of pressure off of Travis Kelce and Pacheco. So you got to get Rashee Rice into the game a little bit. So I think he could be that X factor that the Chiefs need. On the Niners side, I think I'd have to go Christian McCaffrey. For me, I think McCaffrey has to, and he's going to score. He always does. He finds a way to score. But he's going to have to be a little bit more involved with the run game against the Chiefs, trying to get that momentum, not the momentum, but the more balanced look. Because if they have to rely on the pass the whole game and aren't able to get the run game going, the Chiefs are like the 17th rushing defense in the league, I think, something like that. So they need to get the run game going. If they can get their run game going, I think that'll be a big thing for the Chiefs or for the 49ers.
My big X factor for the 49ers is going to be the health of Deebo Samuels, and if they especially with an extra week of preparation, if they actually incorporate him into the run game, with the Chiefs not being elite against the run, I think if they get him in the motion, if they get him in the jet sweep plays, that's something they really got to account for, especially if they put him and McCaffrey both in a backfield. I think that'll be kind of an interesting chess match to see how Andy Reid kind of responds to that. I think because we've seen Deebo's kind of been more nicked up this year than I can ever remember, especially with him getting less carries. McCaffrey got there, and Deebo was actually able to play more of a wide receiver role. And I think you'll see him especially revert back to kind of that running back inside slot role for this game especially. The Chiefs aren't that great in coverage in the middle of the field when it comes to their linebacking core. So I think you're going to see him and Kittle, but I think it's going to be Deebo Samuel is going to be the big time X factor. If Deebo breaks one or definitely kind of gets in rhythm, it could be a long night for the Chiefs defense. But on the flip side, I got to agree with you. I think Rice is definitely going to be the X factor on offense for the Chiefs. If they get him in space, if they get Pacheco going early, and they get that play action going, and they get Rice in the one-on-one situations where he's actually been successful kind of later half of the season, he'll definitely be the X factor there, because we all know about Kelce and Pacheco, but I think Rice is definitely going to be the key factor on the outside wing there. So
it's gonna be a good game, and it's some one game that we're definitely looking forward to next Sunday in Vegas. So let's go ahead and we'll move on a little bit and
Kansas City there.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it'll be if Kansas City manages to win in Vegas in the new Raider Nation, it'll be quite the spectacle, in my eyes at least.
No, I fully agree with you. I mean, they've already played. They played there the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Since the Raiders moved there, it's a division game, so they're used to being there. So
right.
It's just kind of a third game there this year. I mean,
it's their second home. We all know that. Yeah. It's the second home. So let's go ahead and move on. That 25-minute mark right here. Go ahead and move on to some NFL honors predictions, which are this Thursday, February 8th, hosted by oh gosh, what's his name? Key and Peele guy. Gosh, dang it, I can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, is it Michael? It's not
Mike,
Mike.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Michael.
I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyways, we'll start from the bottom and go from that. Let's talk about my favorite one so far, and it's the comeback player of the year. So finalists are Joe Flacco, Damar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, or Tua Tagovailoa. Out of those five, who do you think wins NFL comeback player of the year?
Statistically speaking, it should be Joe Flacco. Purely based on game tape, what he brought to the team, especially getting those late wins, kind of propelling the Browns, who I think went through 5 quarterbacks this year total.
Something like that.
If you count the game against the Bengals at the end of the year where they rested their starters, it was 5 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks in meaningful games. Just he saved their season, even though he had a over ratio. He brought the deep ball, kind of changed the complexity of their offense, and kind of propelled them into the playoffs.
Right.
So, by value of importance and purely statistically speaking, it should 110% be Joe Flacco. Now, the story in the script is going to say Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin, yeah,
because it's a feel good story.
Absolutely.
Now, the importance level, Joe Flacco brought more to the Browns than Damar Hamlin coming back to the Bills, and I'm not taking anything away from his story. Surgically, it's amazing. He put in the work. He overcome some. A lot of people would have just hung up the cleats and said, not me. I'm not taking the risk again. Yeah. It's story wise. I think it's going to be Damar Hamlin, because even Joe Flacco was like, it should absolutely be Damar Hamlin, and he actually interview, towards the end of the season. So I think it's going to be 110% Damar Hamlin. But I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Flacco won it. If they're going on value of importance, it's going to be Joe Flacco. If they're going with the feel good story, which in this day and age we don't get enough of, it's going to be Damar Hamlin. Everybody else is not. I'm not even looking at the rest of the list, to be 110. Right. I'm not taking anything away from those athletes. They've all earned their place on the mantle. But Damar Hamlin's going to win it. Joe Flacco is going to stand up and be extremely supportive during the show. It's going to be a feel-good story both ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be as much as Joe Flacco, what way he came in and led Cleveland to, it could have went the opposite way for Cleveland.
Absolutely.
It could have been absolutely awful. He missed the playoffs, this and that, the whole bunch. Joe Flacco's not a good quarterback. We already know this. Instead, he comes out and is Joe Flacco of the Baltimore Ravens era, and leads Cleveland to at least a playoff berth. Even though they kind of got thumped by that Houston Texans defense.
They did. They got thumped, but 26% of their starters were on the IR.
Right.
And for Joe Flacco to come in and keep that locker room together and keep that, that continuity and that unity, and that's not a small task to come off the lead of grown men that have been playing all year and kind of feeling defeated, and you're taking a bunch of backups and telling them, hey, we're going to play on this level, and that value of importance can't be overlooked.
I agree. I think it is, as much as you could say it's going to be Joe Flacco. I think Damar Hamlin gets it. I almost would want to throw Baker Mayfield's name into that little category a little bit more, that he could possibly win it with the season he had. But at the end of the day, I think it'll be Damar Hamlin.
But Baker's going to win it in the morality of he's going to get a contract.
Yeah. So yes.
We don't have to call him.
Baker wins no matter what.
Baker finally earned his place back in the NFL, and that's a feel good story within itself. 4,000 plus yards, really turning one of the they relied on him all year because I think they were ranked 31st in the run as an offense.
Right.
Almost no run whatsoever. He came in there with a subpar offensive line, but coming from Carolina where he was kind of defeated, went to LA for a couple of games, thought he kind of had a home there and didn't pan out. Yeah, Baker Mayfield's story is definitely something to applaud and be happy about. But Baker won in a game of life, and he's going to be there in a ceremony. But him winning a contract and showing the NFL he still got it, he'll be fine not winning that award. So
yeah. Move on to the next one, which we'll go with Coach of the Year. So yeah, Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, or Kevin Stefanski. In my eyes, I think this either goes to Dan Campbell or D'Amico Ryans. I don't know how the other three. Maybe Kevin Stefanski, but realistically, I don't know how John Harbaugh or Kyle Shanahan are up and running, knowing the teams that they had going into this season.
Yeah.
For me personally, I would like to see D'Amico Ryans get it. He's a first-year head coach. A lot of rookies on that Houston Texans team, a team that wasn't expected to make the playoffs, wasn't expected to win their division, wasn't expected to even be a 500 team in the first year there. I think D'Amico Ryans is a favorite here.
Oh, it's 110% D'Amico Ryans. This will be the shortest conversation on our.
Yeah.
It's got to be D'Amico Ryans. Quarterback, shaping him, excelling. 4,000 plus yards, 5 interceptions, which is absolutely an insane stat as a rookie for regular season turnovers. You look at the kind of the injuries they also got over. Number one wide receiver, doing a plug and play, having Robert Woods come in as a reliable veteran kind of towards the end of his career and put up great stats. Definitely great. I mean, they drafted great. They didn't do anything expensive with the cap. I mean, you look at the flip side over in Carolina, and they could have had a Carolina season, and instead they won 10 plus games. They won their division, the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be, and it's going to be coming up. Or Rookie of the Year is definitely going to be your quarterback. It's got to be D'Amico Ryans. He took an organization that's been in shambles for the last 4 to 5 seasons and turned them into the water cooler talk of the NFL. You around Monday and you'd be like, damn, Texans something to watch. They had 3 fourth quarter comebacks for wins against teams that were over 500. They definitely a lot to be excited about there. So it's D'Amico all the way.
Yeah, I agree. That's like I said, that's my choice. Now moving on to the defensive rookie of the year, you got Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., Kobe Turner, or Devon Witherspoon. So I got some of the stats pulled up on 2 of the guys, but that's it. My 2 favorites, I would say. And the first one's Will Anderson Jr. He had 45 tackles, 16 assists, 7 sacks on the season. He was a huge part of that Houston defense that was able to help them excel in being as good as they were this year. My other guy though is Devon Witherspoon out of Seattle. He has 79 tackles? Yeah, 79 tackles, 3 sacks as a what is a cornerback, isn't he? Yeah. 3 sacks as a cornerback, only 1 interception on the year, which might pull it down a little bit. And for me, hand Will Anderson Jr. that defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you pretty quickly on that. I think Will Anderson Jr. steals it. Not to take away from any of the other performances from the other athletes that are definitely on this list, but Will Anderson Jr. was more of the cornerstone for the Houston Texans defense, especially for the quick turnaround that they did and getting them into the postseason, having them play like a top 10 defense night in and night out as a rookie. Yeah. And, got to apply for, believing in them to get the snap count. You don't see a lot of coordinators put in rookies that often and that early. So that's my vote's Anderson. You not much of an argument there.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty simple one in my eyes, um, of who gets that one. So, and they're gonna go rookie defensive player of the year, Will Anderson. At least our thoughts. Could be wrong. Who knows? On the offensive side of things, you got Jameer Gibbs, Sam Laporta, two Detroit Lions, uh, Puka Nakua, Bijan Robinson, and CJ Stroud. I don't see how another Houston Texan doesn't walk away with an award tonight.
Yeah, if you look at value of importance and who's under the most pressure and in the pressure cooker, it's definitely going to be CJ Stroud. Puka put up some insane stats at the
Did.
receiver role. Gibbs going over 1,000 yards as a rookie, especially being in a backfield where Dave Montgomery also put up 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Nothing to overlook. Laporta makes me sick because I wanted the Bengals to draft him so much. I was glad to see him perform to the level that we all thought he was going to, be at. But being the quarterback position and the guy in the
Yeah.
it's got to be CJ Stroud.
Yeah. I think that's another easy one. Here, I mean, the guy was outstanding and was again, just like Will Anderson Jr. was a huge part in the turnaround of the Houston Texans and to get them where they were this year. So
And
we'll move on.
just
Move on to the. Go ahead. No, you're fine.
just that's just as a rookie because we see so many rookies come in and throw 9, 10, 12 interceptions just from inexperience, and you did
Yeah.
in a pass happy league, especially what the NFL is today. That's insane that
Yeah.
that he would go through all 17 games with only 5 interceptions. I think that alone should give him the award. So.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. All right. What about offensive player of the year? You got Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, CD Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, or Dak Prescott.
I got to go with Christian McCaffrey, the ageless wonder. I mean, to come in, kind of advance in his age when you think about running backs and how many times they use him, an absolute corner piece of the offense that the 49ers use him as, because he kind of came over banged up. We've never seen a full healthy season from him, so to see him go through the whole season absolutely healthy and scoring a touchdown every game this season, I got to give it to McCaffrey.
Okay. I think it'll be a nice little toss up between Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Tyreek Hill had a heck of a season too. Um, I don't even remember how many yards he had. He had tons. Did he end up breaking that record? Do you know?
I don't think he broke the record, and I only say he doesn't win this award because Miami as a team didn't do anything exciting, and I think that's going to be the black eye with the
That's
voters.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, he had 119 receptions, 1,799 yards, and 13 touchdowns this season. The longest being a 78-yard touchdown back in week. Oh no, I don't remember what week it was. December 3rd against Washington for Tyreek Hill. So I think it comes down between these two guys. I mean, I could see CD Lamb's name getting in there, but outside of his one, 200 plus game, you look at some of the stats, and it's a lot of up and down for CD Lamb.
But he didn't carry him. He didn't carry him to the next level either.
Right.
I think that's in the voters' minds. Like, yeah, individual stats are one of those things where like that's great. You had a great year, but what did your team do?
Right.
And you look at both Dallas once again underperformed, wild card first round and out, and Miami just totally crumbled to a team that was above 500 all year long. And Tyreek had some kind of, some of it was health issues, staying on the field. Some of it was quarterback play that kind of went against him. But it just, Christian McCaffrey just came in, week in and week out and was the reason they won games. And I think that's just, who had the biggest impact in the win column. And it's Christian McCaffrey in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's move on to the next one, which is the defensive player of the year. So we got a couple of bigger names, more common names that we see on at least every year. You got Deron Bland, Max Crosby, Miles Garrett, Micah Parsons, or TJ Watt. Which one of these guys is your favorite?
For me, it's going to go to Max Crosby. Playing all year, most games at 100% snap count, that can't be overlooked, especially overcoming injury. I think he had surgery the last game of as soon as that game ended. He
Sure.
had surgery for some corrections in both his knee and his shoulder, and he gutted it out. In a team in a situation where he could have took a couple of games off, being
Yeah.
nicked. They weren't in a playoff prediction fairly early. They went through a kind of a coaching corral. They had big time personnel issues, and it didn't stop him. He showed up on film week in, week out. And in my mind, in a day and age where you don't see that, you see a lot of players rest, a lot of players take some time off, especially in teams that are in losing situations.
Right.
Max Crosby was 100% the athlete and the professional that you just don't see that often.
Yeah.
He was the heart of that defense and a lot of the ways the heart of that team. So it's got to be Max Crosby. 100% snaps. That's insane.
That's impressive.
Is a pass rusher.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's hard to beat. I think you can throw Deron Bland's name in there for defensive player of the year this year. He had 69 tackles, 16 assists, and 9 interceptions on the season. And I think what did he have, like 4 games in a row or 3 games in a row? He broke some some record.
He broke the pick six record.
Yeah, with like four pick sixes in a row, right? Each
Yes.
week or back to consecutive weeks. That alone is impressive. To have 9 interceptions and then 4 or 5 of those being, pick sixes. It was just another guy who played a big part in where the Dallas Cowboys ended up. So didn't necessarily have a great end of the season, but still, you're not going to get thrown at a lot if you're picking the ball off 9 times in the season. So I don't know. Who knows? And the last big one is obviously NFL MVP. So the 5 finalists come down to Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, I think Josh Allen's on this list, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy.
It's got from the important standpoint. I think it's going to go to Lamar. I know everybody said his last game of the season kind of faded that for him, but I think it's going to go to Lamar. He played his first in a long time, his first full season. He made every start for the team. He absolutely lit it up both on the ground, and he developed his pass game. He absolutely something we haven't seen in his career. Using the wide receivers, throwing to the outside. He had a career high in yards passing.
Right.
We always know what he can do for his legs. We know he can scramble. We know the design runs, but that the development, especially this late in his career, of the passing. So in my mind, it's Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is one thing, but Lamar Jackson carried the Baltimore Ravens.
I would agree. Yeah.
So it's definitely got to go to Lamar in my mind.
Yeah, I would agree that the whole carry thing. If you take Lamar Jackson away from the Baltimore Ravens and put somebody else there, who knows what they would be like. And you put Lamar Jackson on another team, I think he still is that guy. He'd still be that guy to lead his team to where they want to be or where they want to go. So yeah, I think Lamar Jackson. He's been the favorite all year. For a majority of the season. So I don't see, again, how he doesn't walk away with MVP. So even though that last game was a little rough for him, but I don't think that should outshine the way he performed this season.
Yeah, the body of work that he brought before that last game shouldn't be outshined. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You catch the NFL honors this Thursday. It was just like 7:00 or something like that. Over on, I don't even know what it's on. I'm sure you're probably not going to watch it anyways. You're just going to get the ESPN updates. So just do what you want to do. Yeah. Gosh dang it. What is going on? I'm trying to wait. Hold on. Technical difficulties with the this part here, and we're moving on to our last part, and that's going to be our way too early division winners. Just division winners. So just give me the 4 off the top of your head. We're not going to get too much detail into it. Let's just hear the first instinct. First instinct. Way too early division winners for 2024.
Go ahead. I'm interested to see what's on your mind.
So we'll start in the NFC and then we'll move over to the AFC really quick. So in the NFC, in the out west, give me the 49ers to run it back and win it again. Even though I think LA could give them a little bit of run for their money, I don't think Seattle's going to be as competitive as they have been, and Arizona is still trying to find their way. So give me the San Francisco 49ers. In the East, give me the Dallas Cowboys to win that division.
Really?
Yes, I think so. I think Dallas gets the win in the East. After seeing the struggles with the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know how much changing an offensive and defensive coordinator, how much of a difference it's going to make. In the South, give me this is a tough one. This is probably the toughest of the bunch. Gosh, give me the Atlanta Falcons.
You think
Give me the Atlanta Falcons to win the AFC South.
They're primed.
Yes.
The Falcons roster wise, if they can get the quarterback situation at least stable,
right,
are primed to win that division. But if the Buccaneers revamp the running game and give Baker some big time help, I think it'll be a 2-dog race. I think in Tampa Bay are going to bring it next year. So
yeah, in the NFC North, give me the Green Bay Packers. Give me the Green Bay Packers to Jordan Love came on at the end of the year.
You think the party's over in Detroit?
It's good. I think it's going to be a little bit of a different vibe next year for Detroit. I think the loss in the NFC Championship game is going to hang for a little bit.
We'll see. I got Detroit winning it. I got Detroit winning that. I agree with you in the NFC East. I think the Cowboys are going to repeat. I think the Eagles. If you look at their free agency list, and I won't touch it too hard, there's a lot of pieces that aren't going to be there next year. So I think it's just going to be too much personnel change too fast for the Eagles. I agree with you on the 49ers. I think they're going to repeat, although I think Seattle's going to be more competitive than you think, especially with a locker room change, getting a younger coach that's more offensive-minded. I don't think they're going to stick with Geno. I think they're going to kind of shock us and go with a quarterback change, but
I think they trade their pick and get earlier in the draft.
I agree with
somebody earlier. Go ahead and give me Michael Penix Jr. to Seattle.
Yeah. But like JJ McCarthy to Seattle, maybe?
No. He's going to LA. Everybody already knows that.
Going to LA.
He's going to be the first according to Jim Harbaugh, the first quarterback taken off the board.
Almost got fired on my other project before I even started. So.
No, that's ridiculous. That's even a thought. To be honest.
Yeah, I can't believe it. If he was still Michigan's head coach, I could see him making those statements. But as somebody that took a job in LA to kind of come out and say that, I would be extremely worried if I was a fan.
Yeah, what? No, don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
Believe in who we have here before we talk about it in college.
Right.
Right. But I'm sorry. Right. What division we going to the AFC now?
I think we'll move over to the AFC. So give me your 4 division winners. We'll give you the reins to start in the AFC.
The AFC South. I'm gonna keep the Texans there. They have a lot of cap space. I think they're gonna bring in the offensive weapons to keep CJ Stroud on point. He kind of had not saying Noah Brown and company were no names, but outside of Tank, he didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Schultz was a good tight end. The
Yeah,
running,
Nico Collins.
but I think they're going to bring in those outside pieces.
Yeah.
So I don't see Tennessee making the turnaround that fast. The division is kind of like the NFC South, kind of mid.
Yeah.
I don't see the Texans being toppled. Now, this is going to sound a little biased, but I see the Bengals finally making the comeback with a healthy Joe Burrow.
With the healthy Joe Burrow.
I think they're going to get the right tackle position fixed. I think they're going to address the defensive tackle position as well. If they retain T. Higgins, I see the Bengals making the leap back in the AFC North. 9 wins is nothing to scoff at when you lose the highest paid quarterback in the league. They made a lot of adjustments. I think that their primary focus is going to be on the run game. Our new offensive coordinator's kind of already stated that. The Ravens, I think, is going to be kind of a hangover season. Losing that way. They're still going to be competitive to the Ravens. I'm never going to take anything away from them. The Steelers, I think, the quarterback controversy is going to come back, and I think they're going to have a worse year. So
they're still going to finish above 500. They have Mike Tomlin, so they'll be fine. Yeah,
they're do what Mike Tomlin always does. They're going to squeeze those late wins.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of give them that record moving forward. And the Browns, I see the Browns finishing second in our division. I think a healthy, as much as I dislike him, he's still their quarterback. He did go 5-1, Deshaun Watson, before the injury. So sure. I think the Browns, with a healthy Nick Chubb and an absolute monster of an offensive line, they're going to bring it. But give me the Bengals retaining the Kings of the AFC North. AFC East, if Rodgers comes back healthy, I want to say the Jets, but I have a feeling that the Patriots are going to take that division.
The Patriots?
Give me the New England Patriots over the Bills.
Okay.
I think Gerard Mayo. They're going to make a quarterback change. Are they
though?
I 100% think they're going to move on from Mac Jones. There's a lot of free agent veterans that I think they can definitely look at moving in, and I think that's going to be a surprise pick. It down. I think the Patriots finally leave their mediocrity ways and take the AFC East.
Okay. What about the West?
Too close to call. I don't know. You look at the Chargers on paper, it'd be say it, but we see them year in and year out, crumble. Give me the Raiders.
Okay.
Screw it. Way too close to, way too early. Give me the Raiders.
The Raiders to win the West.
But I love what Antonio Pierce has brought to that line. They still have Devontae Adams. They still have Max Crosby. Having the surgery is going to come in next year healthy. So they have the pieces there to be successful. I think quarterback situation, give me the Raiders.
All right. I like it. This is why they're way too early, because that's the fun part about it. I'll start in the South. I'll start with the AFC South. Give me the Indianapolis Colts. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a stud of a quarterback. It's going to be an absolute battle between him and CJ Stroud for the next several years. I think it's going to be fun. I think the Colts will be a good team as long as they can, if they can keep Taylor and figure out some little wide receiver help for Anthony Richardson. I think they'll be a contender for the AFC South.
You think Minshew moves on?
Huh?
You think Gardner Minshew moves on?
Yeah. You don't draft Anthony Richardson and be like, Gardner, you're our starting quarterback. So I don't know.
He made a compelling argument.
He did. He kept him into it until literally the last game of the season. In the East, it's hard not to say Buffalo. It's hard to not say the Buffalo Bills will still manage to win their division, even with Aaron Rodgers and Tua and whoever ends up in New England, whether it's Russell Will, if it's Russell Wilson or anybody like that, I don't know how anybody beats Buffalo still. Buffalo gets their division win.
You think their locker room stays together? Because I see it.
No, I think Diggs is going to be out. I don't see him sticking around, but I'm sure they'll fill that spot with like a Mike Evans or possibly like a T Higgins kind of guy.
Oh, wait, come on now, He's staying home. He's staying home.
Out west, I'm gonna wait for the north. Out west, give me the Kansas City Chiefs to continue their run at the AFC West, the AFC West titles. So they'll be like 9 in a row or something like that. Some ridiculous number of straight division wins. And in the north, that's a tough one because Cleveland's going to be decent with Deshaun Watson coming back.
Well, their offensive line. I mean, you got to think they were on four different left tackles. It's
right.
That's what's that Cleveland's offensive line has me worried. So
give me it's tough. Give me with the healthy Joe Burrow, give me the Cincinnati Bengals.
Welcome to the dark side, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to the dark side.
With the healthy Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals are a top team in the NFL. Yeah. Even with losing their offensive coordinator. I think they'll be fine. So it's tough. That's probably the toughest division out of all of them so far.
It was the only division to every team finished above 500.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And all but 10, everybody had 10 wins, right? 9 wins? 9 wins. 9 wins. Everybody had 9 wins. So still crazy. That's ridiculous. So yeah. You got any closing thoughts before we head out today? Thanks for joining us.
The Pro Bowl, the Pro Bowl activities were entertaining. It was fun to see some of those players kind of in a relaxed situation.
Yeah.
I watched some of the skills competitions. Fun to see Kelsey running around with no shoes and trying to 5 and just
how about Dan Orlovsky scoring 27 points in that in the quarterback challenge?
I saw that. Definitely entertaining to see it. But I think that was good for the league. The game's not what it used to be, but the activities challenge kind of takes away from that in a positive light.
Right.
Definitely excited for the Super Bowl, excited for the commercials, excited for everything that it brings. The game's going to be competitive. The league's in a good state. So I'm happy with everything moving forward.
Oh, that's fair. All righty. Well, we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning on another episode of Sunday Morning Tailgate. It's been a blast. Jordan, thanks for joining once again, and we'll see you possibly next Sunday as we preview the Super Bowl.
We'll definitely see you next week at some point. So we'll get it.
If you're sticking around here on Variety Sports, make sure you tune into Fat Boy Fadeaway coming in at 10:30. I think if not, they've already started, one of the two. But I don't think they're going until 10:30. Yeah, 10:30. So give it about 9 minutes, and you'll be able to catch Fat Boy Fadeaway right here on the Variety Sports Network. You know what to do. We'll see you next time.